Okay, to do this problem, you need to memorize this rule. Ratio of A to B is the same as A divided by B. Okay, so when it says A to B, just understand that that's A on B. So when it says ratio of 3 on 8, 3 on 8 to 1 on 8, that's the same thing as 3 on 8 on 1 on 8. And what did I tell you about fraction within a fraction? Well, if you have this, the bottom of bottom goes to the top, and the bottom of top goes to the bottom. So you have to make some transition here. So 8 goes to the top, and this 8 goes to the bottom. So this one goes to the numerator, this one goes to the denominator. Therefore, this becomes 3 times by 8, so 3 times by 8 on 8 times by 1. Well, that's equal to 24 over 8. Well, that's the same thing as if you actually divide both of them by, of course this is 3, 24 on 8 is equal to 3. But 3 is equal to 3 on 1. Isn't it right? 3 divided by 1 is 3. So the ratio of that to that, 3 on 8 to 1 on 8, is the same as ratio of 3 to 1, because 3 on 1 is the same as a ratio of 3 to 1. So therefore the answer is A. But you should also be able to see that this question doesn't really require this sort of operation, this calculation over here, because it's simply 3 on 8 to 1 on 8. And you know the denominators don't really matter because actually the denominators are the same. So this is the same, essentially the same as 3 to 1. But if the denominators are different, like say 3 on 8 to 1 on 2, how do we work out the ratio? Well, same method here. So 3 on 8 on 1 on 2. So this becomes a 3 times 2, which is 6 there on the numerator, and 8 times 1, which is 8 there. If you simplify this, this is equal to, if you divide 6 by 2, you get 3, divide 8 by 2, then you get 4. So the ratio is 3 to 4. So ratio of that to that is the same as 3 to 4. The reason is, 1 on 2 is the same as 4 on 8. 4 out of 8 is the same as 1 on 2. You see when the denominator is the same, see that it's a 3 to 4. This is 3 to 4. So that's confirmed. Another ratio rule that you must understand is this. If A to B equals to C to D, then A multiplied by D, so A multiplied by D, will equal to B times C. Okay, so this column here also means 2, so that can be interpreted as the fraction bar or as columns. So like 1 to 2 is the same as 2 to 4, isn't it? So you see 1 times 4, is that the same as 2 times 2? Yes, it is. What about 1 to, let's say, 3? Is that the same as 2 to 6? 1 out of 3, 1 to 2 is the same as 2 out of 6, 2 to 6. Yes, it is, because 1 times 6 is equal to 3 times 2, so that's confirmed. So this method is quite useful. You will see how this method, this rule here, becomes very useful in later questions. You can alternatively work out this one by writing this way. 3 over 8 to 1 on 2 equals what? What to what? So you have to think about the least common multiple of 2 and 8. Okay, so you can multiply this one and this one by any number you want, okay? But as long as you multiply by the same number. So I want to multiply this one by 8. So if I multiply this by 8, then 8 and 8 cancels out, so you get 3. But if you multiply 1 on 2 by 8 also, you get 4. You see? So you get the ratio of 3 to 4. So if you prefer this method, yeah, you can use this method if you want, okay? But this method is essentially the same as, well, this fraction method here, that method here. So if you go back to the original question, 3 on 8 to 1 on 8, you can just write it like, write them as this, 3 on 8 to 1 on 8. You just multiply by 8 on both sides, okay? So multiply this by 8, then you get 3. Multiply this by 8, then you get 1. So that's why the denominators, if they're the same, they don't matter. You just need to read the numerators, and that's it. So the answer is 3 to 1.